explain to me how Morphisec works in connecting both detection to, well, getting to some level of solution, remediation. What do you do?
Yeah, definitely. So when we started the company, that's what we've seen, yeah? Everyone came and tells us, forget about prevention, it doesn't work anymore, right? It's very hard because attackers become so sophisticated that vendors find it very hard to keep up with their pace. So they said, okay, if we cannot prevent, so let's at least detect and try to stop the breach after it happens, before do more damage. So what we've seen that through the years, most of the energy went to that area, and prevention was eroded. So now we found ourselves piling up our network with tons of detection, tons of money, and very hard to manage and analyze.
And let me pause you right there.
Yeah.
I think the reason for that is because detection is visible, it's easy to see, and you can show, quote, a solution. Look, we found it.
Exactly.
That looks good, but it doesn't actually help solve a business problem.
I totally agree. So at the end of the day, you want to prevent an attack. You want to take the problem out of your network and not in and then deal with that, right? So it's really hard. And it's also hard to prevent and detect. And that's exactly what we are doing. We are able to prevent the attack before it starts and detect it, know exactly what's the information behind it.
All right, so the obvious question, all right, how the hell are you pulling that off?
Oh, wow. So the reason we are able to do that is that we adopted a very unique method called moving target defense. It is known out there, but it is very hard to do. So we have the knowledge, we have the patents around that, and we were able to build a system that is enterprise grade. They know how to hide the targets from the attackers, and by that deprive them from the resources they need for the attack.
Can you just boil it down to one example? Because I'm still trying to wrap my arms around this thing. Give me an example of how you're preventing where it could not be prevented, if you didn't have your solution.
Very simple. You get a phishing email, there's a malicious file inside or a link to a malicious website, right? You double click that, and when you do that, we immediately take the application that relates to that file or web page of the browser, and we morph it and we change it, randomize it in such a way that when the attacker is looking for the resources he was trying to exploit in that file, through that file, to the application behind that file, or the web browser, suddenly doesn't find any of those resources and automatically fail.
I kind of like that take. So you're like you got a round peg that's looking for a round hole, and you turn it into a square peg so before it can do anything.
Exactly. We take the target and we randomize. We make it a moving target. So instead of doing what the rest of the market is doing, chasing the attacker, trying to understand what they do, and react by detection mechanism, and they need a lot of knowledge for that, we take a different approach. Now, in order for the attacker to break our system, he needs to chase after us and understand how we change the structures and the resources that he's looking for.
As I understand, you started working with Microsoft.
Yeah.
Why are you working with Microsoft, besides the fact they're embedded everywhere?
Yeah.
That would probably be one good reason. And second, explain how that's working.
So we took the Defender AV, which is a great antivirus, and we saw that many customers want to use it, but they found it hard because there's no controls, no visibility. So we integrated the Defender AV into our system, and now we give a full package of endpoint protection with the Defender antivirus of Microsoft and Morphisec controls on top of that for the hard attacks like fireless, evasive malware, all this stuff, and give it as a one-stack controlled and visible to the customer for one pane of glass. That's one element. The second element, we integrated our system into their system ATP in such a way that when there is an event, there's an attack, and we prevented that, we pushed the information into the ATP, and by that we dramatically simplified the investigation time of the security team, because until then they would see events. What do I do with those events? Hey, but Morphisec says it's an attack that was prevented.
What are you doing for the individual users themselves?
Yeah, so we look at our customers and we know how hard they struggle with coping with those attacks. And we want to make sure that we give them the best prevention, protection, and in a very simple way, and a cost-effective way. So again, by taking the native controls of Microsoft, the integrated Defender AV, we are coming now to those CISOs and tell them, hey, you just moved to Windows 10. This is your opportunity now to reassess your security stack, right? You have great controls there. You can remove your antivirus, just turn on the Defender AV, put Morphisec on top, and by that you get the best protection and for lower operational costs. You just shift the budget to Morphisec and much easier operations.
How widespread is Morphisec right now?
So we are, of course, very active around the world. We have our main offices, business offices in Boston, presence in the Far East as well, in India, in APAC region, of course in Israel, R&D, etc., etc. And we gradually grew, and today we are very proud that we actually protect almost 5 million endpoints. And that's only within 2 years since the product actually was out there in the market. So that enables us to show the validation of this very new technology that well, some suspicious whether it will work or not, but after having so many endpoints protected by our technology, we definitely show the value now and keep growing.